Hello everybody, Joshua back here again with another video, and I'm here to give you my official review for the Starz original program, Black Sails. I'm here to review Black Sails Season 3, Episode 1, chronologically Episode 19, but of course if you haven't seen this episode and this season premiere, please go check it out because this review may contain spoilers. But that being said, let's get into this new season of Black Sails. Now, first things first, let me try and recap my overall personal thoughts, subjectively, of course, for Season 1 and Season 2, considering I haven't really reviewed or talked about Black Sails on my freaking channel for a long time, and of course, my reviews for Season 1 are various and mixed when it comes to personal reaction and reception to my reviews to Black Sails. But at the end of the day, of course, if you haven't watched Season 1 or Season 2, spoilers, but at the end of the day, Season 1, I feel like, was an okay season. At the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people, a lot of fans out there, which of course is alright, like to overhype and overrate Season 1 of Black Sails, which I like to consider an okay season to an okay show. Season 1, even though I'm a freaking South Beach kid and I freaking grew up on the ocean and I freaking love pirate stories and pirate lore and, overall pirate mythology, I feel like Season 1 to Black Sails was just an okay season. It wasn't something that blew me away. It didn't freaking explode my pants. It was just an okay show and an okay season with okay performances. And, that was pretty much it. It was just a little above mediocre. And that's the best way I can really explain my personal feelings towards Season 1. I feel like the thing is that the creators of the show were trying a little too hard to base their story around Treasure Island, and I feel like they kind of fell on their faces when it came to that. However, they fixed that mistake when it came to transitioning to Season 2, and I personally feel like Season 2 is a major improvement and personally my favorite season of Black Sails. Granted, there's only 2 and now we have 3, but at the end of the day, out of the 3, essentially, Season 2 is pretty much my favorite. I felt like it was a major improvement from Season 1. They basically, took away all the pros, threw away all the cons of Season 1, and essentially stated, wait, we gotta establish setting, we haven't established characters, we have established actors performing in those characters. Let's freaking use that to our advantage and just go out there and create like some really cool, interesting, original content and just explode off the screen. And that's basically what they did. Season 2 was an explosive, epic, awesome season. It was essentially a war against Captain Fane and Captain Flint, and at the end of the day, they had to team together and freaking face off a larger threat. I mean, that was some epic stuff in Season 2. I personally loved it, and I love the transition from John Silver to trying becoming the Long John Silver that we all know and love. I mean, that was some very interesting, epic character development, and I loved how they used Captain Flint and the actor to really improve that freaking character to the highest level. I mean, he freaking killed it last season, and he really got the shine performance-wise, and that goes along with everybody else. But at the end of the day, now that we're transitioning to Season 3, there are some significant things I don't really like. I like to start off with the negatives. First things first, why did we get to have a time jump? That's the biggest thing that I have as a negative towards, I guess, Season 3, which is, there is not a gigantic one, but there is a significant time jump between Season 2 and 3. Now, for me personally, I like where Season 3 is heading. It's obviously going to head towards a gigantic war of biblical proportions. But at the end of the day, I feel like that was more like a storyline that they should have saved for a Season 4, maybe even a Season 5. Or hell, if they wanted to start it so early, maybe Part 2 of Season 3, I feel like would have been a lot superior of a move. But my personal, opinion is, at least subjectively, is that I really wanted to see Flint's reaction once he got back to NASA and he realized that Jack Rackham, that little weasel bastard, and his fucking gang of super hot chicks, stole the freaking gold that he worked so freaking hard in the past 2 seasons to try and acquire. I mean, he dedicated so much time, so much blood, so much people of this freaking ship. An entire war broke out between him and Vane just to get that shit. And it went to that asshole. Like, I wanted to see basically Flint, at least this was my personal belief, which is what I wish could have happened with season 3. Flint arrive on the island, fucking walk right towards Jack, grab him by his fucking skinny neck, and make him his personal puppet. I freaking wanted to see that happen so freaking badly. I wanted to see a war happen between freaking Jack and freaking Flint, and I wanted to see Flint basically kill his ass because I don't really like his character, and I really don't like his female companion characters, at least my personal opinion, and I really wanted to see that happen. Unfortunately, they kind of like skim across that storyline, and they're kind of like, okay, well, Flint was pissed off, which he should have been, and essentially Vane came in out of nowhere and was like, look, we can be okay with this, and okay, I'm alright, I'm gonna leave now, and I'm gonna go kill people on various other islands. Like, what the hell? Come on, that was a storyline that should have been the main focal point of season 3, at least in my personal opinion. Flint versus Jack for the freaking gold is something I desperately wanted to see. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that, and who knows what's going to happen. The gold is most likely going to be used to recreate NASA, if you will, in a specific person's vision. But at the end of the day, I really wish they could have dedicated this new season to specifically Flint versus Jack for the gold and how Flint would react to Jack having that gold. I wish they could have done that. But of course, they're heading in a different direction with season 3, which is alright. But at the end of the day, that's something I would have been a lot more interested in. But essentially, without getting into too much spoiler territory, essentially, the overall landscape and scope of season 3 is essentially, there's an apocalypse happening. I think this is the best way I can put it. There's an apocalypse happening. The apocalypse is about to hit this world of Black Sails. But before that happens, every character that's in Black Sails essentially is like a chicken with their head cut off, and they're just running around doing God knows what the fuck. So that's essentially what Black Sails Season 3 is essentially like. Flint is running around waging war with every single person he comes across because he knows that at a certain point there will be a war, a significant one, where all fucking pirates will be public enemy number 1, and it's every man for himself. But at the end of the day, it's essentially just going into the same old direction where Jack is still alive and Vane is kind of just the odd man out in this whole situation. And of course, the British Empire is developing an army of people to go back with Eleanor, to keep in mind, to essentially take back NASA, reestablish it, civilize it, if you will, while all pirates will probably end up dead. And of course, the newest reintroduction of a classic character, Blackbeard, which is something that I'm fully in support of them establishing in this season. If I have one solid, positive thing, overly positive, if you will, that I love to death that they are establishing in this season, amongst all other things, is Blackbeard. Personally, for me personally, I love the character of Blackbeard. He's my personal favorite freaking pirate of all time, and I love the fact that they got Ray Stevens they casted Ray Stevens to freaking play Blackbeard. I love that. I mean, like, Blackbeard's the character that I've been specifically waiting for since season 1, and now they finally established him and introduced him in this specific season, and I love it. I think Ray Stevens, from the very brief things that we've seen him in, is freaking killing it. I think he's an awesome actor. He's a badass actor, and I think he's a perfect choice for Blackbeard. But of course, at the end of the day, this season premiere was pretty good. I liked it. I think the silver lining is its performances. Once again, I mean, like, every single actor they have for their specific characters are always killing it. I mean, it's really cool to see every single person's characterization, their development, the differences in tone from each season. I think the best thing about this show is that it gets consistently better through time. Like, they always, every single season that they transition from, they're always looking back at the mistakes they made and improving on them. You know, like every single season is just getting better visually and, you know, internally. It's always getting better, and I love that about Black Sails, and I really love that about Starz, that they're just improving about that, because, you know, they could have just done the same old bullshit that they did with season 1 and just continue on that kind of road. But now they're changing, they're growing, they're improving, and I love they're adapting to their new surroundings, and I love that. And the characters are doing the same thing. Long John Silver is starting to become the Long John Silver we all know and love, and of course Flint is becoming a much more darker, a much more grittier kind of a person now that he's lost everything, and now he's just out for blood, if you will. He's raging war with everyone, and of course Eleanor's coming back with an entire British colonial army who's about to destroy everything that we all know and love, and of course Blackbeard's running around possibly looking for Vane to do God knows what. So there's a lot of real crazy stuff. At the end of the day, if I have to make some kind of prediction or speculation, I feel like Vane might end up dying in this season. Now, historically, the character of Charles Vane, if you don't know, essentially he does inevitably end up dying. I mean, obviously. But at the end of the day, I get the feeling, I don't know why, but I get the feeling that if a war does break and it's every man for himself, I get the feeling that Charles Vane could end up being the one casualty, the one major casualty of this season. I don't know why, but I get that feeling. Like, after Eleanor was having her discussion with that one freaking asshole who's essentially taking an entire army to go over to NASA, if you will, didn't you get the feeling that she was talking about Vane and how, like, he's the only person that can really make a difference? I'm just saying, I feel like he might be the one major character casualty of this season. That's just my personal opinion. At the end of the day, my final verdict is a solid 8 out of 10. Of course, there are some major questions up in the air as to what's going to happen with the rest of this show. But at the end of the day, I feel like the writers and creators know where they know where they want to go. They know where they want to take these characters. And it's just going to be an awesome ride to see that happen. And plus, the actors are killing it performance-wise. I mean, Toby as Flint, he's freaking killing it. I feel like every single season and every single episode that passes, he just gets better and better and better. And that goes along with every other actor. I mean, every other character on this show is just awesome. And if there's any other real negatives I have for this specific episode, I guess has to be the female characters. Once again, I'm not really big on the female characters of Black Sails. I'm not really big on any of them. I don't really like them that much. So I guess that's kind of like the one thing that falls flat for me on Black Sails. Not to mention the fact that, I really wanted to see Flint versus Jack. That's something I really wanted to see in this season. But seeing as how we're not going to get that, I'm okay with what we're getting already. So, but at the end of the day, final verdict is an 8 out of 10. Let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. Did you love this season premiere? Did you hate it? What are your personal thoughts on Flint, the new and improved Flint, if you will, the darker Flint? And of course, what are your personal thoughts on Vane and my specific predictions of his alleged death that could happen in this season? And of course, what are your personal thoughts on the upcoming war between pirates and the British Empire and everything that's going to go down? So let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. And of course, what are your personal thoughts on my opinion on season 1 and season 2? But at the end of the day, I like season 1. I think it was okay, but just okay. Season 2 was awesome. I thought it was epic. And season 3 looks like it's going to be very interesting. So, but at the end of the day, comment below. Let me know what you personally think. Shameless plug time. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jonch12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And this has been Jonch12.